fellow Amazonians, this is your Vice President. When a handful of people embark on a journey to derail our revolution, while failing in their attempts to fuel the engine with the people's gas reserves, they start shouting and throwing tantrums at something as innocuous as the moon. They look up and see a man in that shiny gas bubble holding a revolutionary axe as they struggle to push that almost hijacked revolutionary train without the ability to fuel and take it to another destination. They come to a rude awakening that the man with an axe in the moon is the one whose name has become the household name in this revolution, both to true revolutionaries and revolution busters. Indeed, one will never cease to be amazed by some people's capacity for hyperbole. We will surely stabilize our revolutionary train as we come together each time amidst distractions. Now, we will fuel our revolutionary train to enable it to navigate to its desired destination, because the last word belongs to the God that ordained our revolution. We call on all Amazonians to join us next Thursday, March 10th to March 13th at the ASSE2 in Washington, so we can collectively grease our revolutionary engine, purge the destructive scum that almost pushed our train off the tracks, and to ensure it gets to its logical destination, which is the seat of our government, Boya. Those good people who got swept away by lies and unconstitutionality must always remember that falling prey to lies is a reversible human fallacy, and one must be bold to make redress, abandon those negative impostors that made one prey to a deceptive beast of destruction. Remember, taking control of one's dark thoughts is an honorable path to redemption. Come back home, my fellow Amazonians. Let's join our president, Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, during the ASSE2 in Washington, D.C. to strengthen our revolutionary construct. My fellow Amazonians, thank you, and God bless us all. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Start a new career as a Linux system administrator with an average salary of $80,000 to $120,000 a year. Dynamic Tech Academy has transformed many lives for the better through our 6-month Linux program. We are so excited to announce that we are adding DevOps course and Red Hat certification at no charge, which will make students more competitive. Over 80% of our students have no prior IT background, yet vast majority of alumni land jobs in 3 to 6 months after they start applying. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100% student employment, so we work with every student until he or she gets a job. Upon successful completion of the course, we will provide resume building, interview preparation, and job placement assistance. With the Linux course, you get more than 300 hours of in-depth training, and you get to learn from experienced instructors. By the end of the program, our students can be Red Hat certified if they choose. Our alumni work in companies, both government and private companies in the USA, Canada, and even Europe. Want to learn more about the program? You can contact us at info@dynamicdmv.com or you can call us at 240-604-9505, or you can call us at 240-423-7865. And you can also visit us at www.dynamictechdmv.com. If you are interested in online classes, please register on our website. That's once again www.dynamictechdmv.com.
Fellow Ambazonians, dear countrymen, despite the hike in targeted summary execution of our innocent people by Paul Biya's killer squads, I still believe we are now at the twilight of our political daybreak, emptying the combined worth and wealth of a lifetime fortune into the country of our collective dream.
A place we can surely call home.
At last, my people, the wind of total liberation is sweeping through Ambazonia, our priceless inheritance.
The land of our forebears.
A place we can surely call home.
A few years ago, a vicious dictator declared war on our sovereign nation of Ambazonia. It is a war we did not seek nor provoke, but are determined to muster every strength we can harness and continue sending the message to our enemy that we have risen to call home.
We have paid dues for everything. We pay tax for goods we buy. We pay fuel in our cars. We pay hospital bills and the dues for all other sacrifices.
I can give all I have for the one hope that I have.
Because I hate my CID, and I should be proudly Amazonian. What about you?
Let's get it straight. The freedom of Ambazonia will not depend on the free will of her enemies.
Independence will be but days away if we get it right with our CID.
My dear comrades, I am appealing to every Ambazonian to register with the CID program.
We have no control over our distorted history, but with our CID, we can set the pace and determine the future of Ambazonia.
Yes, the hope for the future is in our hands. As an Ambazonian, my identity is conclusive. My right is guaranteed. My vote will always count as I pay my CID.
As an Amazonian, I will shape the future with my CID.
With your CID of just $10 per month, the interim government is contract to fulfill all that you wish to be done.
Let us build a freedom mansion from the little blocks, which is our CID living.
There will be food for everyone, hope for every child, justice for every citizen when we pay our CID levy.
Yes, the dream we can realize. With my compulsory independence dues, CID, I have the opportunity to give to the next generation a greater nation, better than we inherited.
Yes, CID program is freedom made easy, freedom made cheap, freedom for Amazonia now.
Welcome to Undaunted, bringing into the news untold stories only on ABC Amber TV. I am Okpala. We are back with the news. Let's begin. Now that the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has replaced COVID-19 in the headlines of mainstream media, do we still wish to call those who thought differently the pandemic conspiracy theories? As people in the West turn him into a star, Volodymyr Zelensky is using every chance he gets to remind the world his people are fighting for their lives. The past few days have been incredibly difficult for the people and residents of Ukraine. But when a government cares and sends succor, it becomes easy for the people to bear the pain and agony. The interim government of the Federal Republic of Amazonia is closely following the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine since the February 24th deployment of Russian military into Ukraine, and we are keen to bring succor to our people in Ukraine. Amazonia women say no, no, no to any International Women's Day celebration in Amazonia, not when the women continue to be victims of rape, torture, unwanted pregnancies because of the genocidal onslaught in the homeland. In spite of the lukewarm behavior of the international community towards Amazonia, what some nationalists would preferably describe as an international conspiracy against the people of Amazonia, the Amazonia Restoration Forces, the Buffaloes of Bali, the Expendables of India, and in most countries continue to make the nation proud. This is a special week for Amazonia, the week when stakeholders of the liberation movement meet in Washington, D.C. to re-strategize and refocus. The quest remains, what in ASSC2 to hope for? These and a lot more will be the focal point of tonight's discussion. But before we delve into that, let's get the prime headline.
Prime headlines. Amazonian women say no to International Women's Day celebrations in Amazonia. It's not a movie. Ukraine's president seeks the world's help, not its memes. As people in the West turn him into a star, Volodymyr Zelensky is using every chance he gets to remind the world his people are fighting for their lives. Russia-Ukraine conflict replaces COVID-19 on mainstream headlines. Indian county completely neglected by the genocidal regime of the neighboring La République du Cameroon. ASSC2 is a few hours away. The question remains, what's there to hope for? Agent 47 of the Expendables 100 debunks any ADF involvement in the Bekor bashing of La République du Cameroon. Unfortunately, General Nopiti and his unity warriors turned their guns against the restoration forces.
Day 12 of Russian aggression and invasion. What is the West doing? Could purported backdoor diplomacy provide any form of highly needed resolutions and negotiations? Critics believe that the West is a toothless bulldog, good at nothing but media propaganda. What are the stakes involved if things continue to sour down the road? Who becomes the piper? That is, spite as the days of the full-blown Russia-Ukraine conflict go by. It would appear that the Ukraine war and leader and people are kind of gaining some momentum in their resistance. The actual situation on ground is going to be the focus of our discussion this evening. According to the Guardian Post, the strength of Ukraine's resistance continues to surprise Russia. A British intelligence report has said, despite attempts by invading troops to break Ukrainian morale by targeting populated areas, the Ukrainian military said its forces had been lighting fierce battles to maintain certain borders. In its daily operational report, it claimed Russian troops had been demoralized and were in an extremely low morale and psychological state due to the resistance of the Ukrainian people, the General Staff of the Armed Forces said. U.S. President Joe Biden spoke with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss ongoing efforts to impose sanctions on Russia and speed up U.S. military, humanitarian and economic assistance. The White House said during the call, the pair also discussed talks between Russia and Ukraine but offered no additional details. Zelensky also spoke to SpaceX and Tesla boss Elon Musk, announcing the country will receive more of Starlink satellite internet terminals this coming week. US-based credit card giants Visa and MasterCard have announced they will suspend their Russian business operations. Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has issued a 6-point plan in reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and is urging other leaders to endorse it in efforts to ensure Russia fails in its apparent attempt to take over its democratic neighbor. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi has told the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken that Beijing opposes any moves that add fuel to the flames in Ukraine. Wang called for negotiations to resolve the immediate crisis, adding that the U.S. and Europe should pay attention to the negotiation impact of NATO's eastward expansion on Russia's security. Blinken said the world is acting in unison in response to Russia's aggression and ensuring that Moscow will pay a high price. Blinken briefly stepped into Ukraine soil for a meeting with the Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba, who predicted Russia would be defeated but appealed for more military assistance. Blinken also visited a welcome center set up by Polish authorities where about 3,000 refugees are taking shelter. Hundreds of men have been lining up in Kyiv to join the Ukrainian army. One volunteer, Vladimir Onsko, told Sky News, and I quote, "We know why we are here. We know why we defend our country. And our guys that are actually standing there and fighting Russian military forces, we know what they are doing, and that's why we will win." End of quote. The Ukrainian military said Russian forces continue to focus on Kyiv while moving ahead with assaults on Kharkiv, Makviv, and the creation of a land corridor with Crimea. In its latest operational report, the report said aircraft from airports in Belarusian territory were involved in airstrikes on military and civilian infrastructure in Kyiv and Zhytomyr. Russia has dropped powerful bombs on residential areas of Chahiv, a city north of Kyiv, adding to a regional official. Vyacheslav Charles posted a photo of what he said was an undetonated FAB-500, a Soviet-designed 500-kilogram, 1-pound dropped bomb of any kind usually used against military industrial facilities and fortified structures. The humanitarian situation in the southern Ukrainian port of Mariupol is catastrophic, and it's very vital that civilians be evacuated. A senior official from the NGO Doctors Without Borders has also warned. The International Monetary Fund has announced it could approve $1.4 billion emergency funding as early as next week, as the body warns of war severe impact on the global economy. The past few days has been incredibly difficult for the people and residents of Ukraine. But when a government cares and sends succor, it becomes easy for the people to bear the pains and agony. The interim government of the Federal Republic of Amazonia is closely following the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine since the February 24th deployment of Russian military into Ukraine, and are keen to bring in succor to the people in Ukraine. In a press release by the interim government, it says, "We have seen how people are fleeing their homes and seeking shelter in neighboring countries as more bombings and shelling continues to escalate in Ukraine, an experience we Ambazonians are very familiar with. It is becoming apparent that this Russia-Ukraine war could result into the worst humanitarian crisis in recent history in the part of the world and an immediate ceasefire will avert the humanitarian crisis unfolding. It is reported that at least 137 civilians have been killed in the Russian attacks on Ukraine, and hundreds of thousands to millions of people are displaced within the country or have fled across borders to seek safety in other European countries. As the nation that is also at war with the genocidal colonial regime of French Cameroon that has occupied our territory for over 60 years now. We cannot be indifferent to the ongoing war in Ukraine and the resulting humanitarian consequences. The interim government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia joins other governments all over the world to extend its sympathy to the people of Ukraine. It should be noted that while the rest of the world has rallied in record time to condemn the Russian aggression towards Ukraine, there is still a lukewarm attitude towards the French Cameroonian perpetrators of genocide on the people of Ambazonia, that's the former British Southern Cameroon. The war declared on the people of Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia on November 30, 2017 by dictator Paul Biya of French Cameroon has dragged on for 5 years. The interim cost to the Ambazonians thus far has been enormous. More than 40,000 Ambazonian deaths as a result of massacres and extrajudicial killings. More than 2 million refugees and IDPs living in dire conditions in the territory and in neighboring countries. Thousands of widows, orphans, and rape victims, and so many others. More than 400 villages and settlements burned down as a result of French Cameroon's scorched earth policy. More than 2,000 prisoners of conscience in jails in both La République du Cameroun and Ambazonia. At this time, the interim government is deeply concerned about the numerous Ambazonia, Southern Cameroonians, mostly students and refugees, who are stranded in Ukraine due to the present conflict and some unable to find a safe place to safety. We have dedicated a hotline for Ambazonian Southern Cameroonian citizens caught up in the war in Ukraine to reach out to our officials who are ready to counsel them on what steps to take during this difficult period. The numbers they can contact is +120 98006104 and an email at secretary.comfra@ambazoniagov.org. The interim government once more reiterates the importance of dialogue and negotiations as the only tools in solving conflicts of this nature. We have manifested our good faith in engaging in the internationally endorsed Swiss-led talks aimed at resolving the present conflict between us, the former British Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, and La République du Cameroun, French Cameroon. Unfortunately, French Cameroon is still to subscribe to this path to a just peace. Hopefully, the conflicts between Russia and Ukraine will be short-lived as they seek to solve their differences through dialogue and negotiation. Now that the conflict between Russia and Ukraine has replaced COVID-19 in the headlines of mainstream media, do we still wish to call those who thought differently the pandemic conspiracy theories? These concerns provokes our news desk to examine a Pulse Point survey dated December 17, 2021. Pulse Point survey explores politicization of COVID-19 vaccine impact on colleges. ACE's latest Pulse Point survey of college and university presidents, the second of all these fall term, looked at how political discourse about the pandemic has affected their institutions' ability to implement COVID-19 mitigation measures on campus. Of the 113 presidents who responded to the survey, most noted that the vast majority of campus stakeholders have been supportive of mitigation measures. Presidents at public four-year institutions, 74%, were the most likely to agree that political discourse affected their institutions' ability to require measures such as vaccine mandate, mask mandate, and testing. These was followed by presidents at public 2 years, 65%, and private 4-year 85% institutions. Presidents were also asked to report their level of agreement with these statements. Federal government's requirements related to COVID-19 vaccines for faculty and staff had created tension with my state government. Overall, 27% of presidents agreed and 21% strongly agreed that federal government requirements have created tension with their state government. 73% of respondents reported that their governing bodies had been very supportive of their institutions' implementation of COVID-19 mitigation measures. The majority of presidents, 88%, also reported that their students were very supportive of their response to the pandemic. Presidents across the board said that they primarily avoid politicizing COVID-19 in their institutional decision-making processes and base their decision on guidelines from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and their state backed by science. As they have in previous surveys in this series, respondents also identified their most pressing current concerns for the 7th time since April 2022. And it reads, mental health of students was cited most frequently by presidents, with 73% identifying it as among their concerns. Enrollment numbers for the next academic term came next at 63%, and after that was mental health of faculty staff at 57%. In our next newscast, we will examine these very closely. Known fact that women are the backbone of every home, community, state, and nation. Women are powerful, resilient, angelic, and above all, solution providers. The voice of a happy woman can bring greatness and happiness, just as the voice of a sad woman can bring happiness when she is heard. Should we in Ambazonia celebrate the International Women's Day when our wives, mothers, sisters, and girls are killed on a regular basis? Should we not rather use our voice and prowess to ensure that we use this special Women's Day celebration to bring a change? Dr. Patience Abiodun, Secretary of State for the Department of Women's Services of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, sends a very strong message calling on the collective resilience of Ambazonia women, home and abroad. The women, mothers, and girls on the 22nd of September 2017 rose in unison across the county, cities, towns, and village of Ambazonia with peace plans denouncing the continued colonization and illegal occupation of our land. And on the 1st of October 2017, celebrated the restoration of our independence. However, women and girls have suffered disproportionately and continue to bear the brunt of a war when President Paul Biya of La Republic de Cameroon declared war on the people of the former British Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia, on November 30, 2017. The nation of Ambazonia has experienced and is experiencing a wide spectrum of losses: the loss of life, loss of family members, particularly spouses and children. The people of Ambazonia have been subjected to repeated rapes and other forms of degrading women abuses, loss of personal freedoms, and the loss of property. This is why the Department of Women's Services of Ambazonia believes that it shouldn't be another celebration or propaganda by La Republic de Cameroon claiming all is well, but rather calls for national mourning. In an article shared on the social media by Secretary Dr. Patience Abiodun and her deputy, Mrs. Rachel Tima, it reads, and I'll read that: Gender equality today for a sustainable tomorrow is the 2022 International Women's Day theme. The Department of Women's Services of the Interim Government of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia calls on every Ambazonia woman to endeavor and adhere to this wake-up call. Fight for the girl child who has been raped, impregnated, subjected, dejected, and abandoned. In order to achieve this, no mother or woman is to maintain silence towards the injuries meted upon our people in southern Cameroon's Ambazonia. Women, rise, and together let's give a sustainable tomorrow to very women in Ambazonia. Short live the war for a long and lasting Ambazonia. We are calling on all through Ambazonia women to stay home on Tuesday, March 8th, and not participate in International Women's Day celebration in our territory, Ambazonia. Let us rather stay at home and remember baby Nadjali, Biandi Tato, baby Mata, Mami Api, and Shay and Sika families. We are calling on all true Ambazonian women to stay home on Tuesday, March 8th, and not participate in International Women's Day celebration in our territory, Ambazonia. Let us rather stay at home and celebrate and remember baby Ndiale, Brandy Tato, baby Mata, Mami Api, Shay, and Sika families, and all our sons, daughters, and husbands killed by the French Cameroon terrorist military. French Cameroon must not be allowed to celebrate this year's Women's Day on our territory. All of Ambazonian mothers should stay at home on Tuesday morning, the above heroes of Ambaland. That was very emotional and categoric. Images keep coming in from the Ambazonian Restoration Forces debunking any ADF involvement in the clinical attack of the Colonial Divisional Officer and his team last week. First, it was General Tenkober seen on video gallantly showcasing weapons that we harvested during the said ambushment. Again, in another amateur video footage in Pidgin English, Agent 47 of the Expendables 100 debunks any ADF involvement in the Bekora bashing of La Republique de Cameroon and wants the ADF set up to stay clear. The question remains, who are they deceiving? What did they hope to achieve? Just watch these video footages for yourself.
This is the dead body of Commander Moua, the BBC commander that have been killed by no pity. This is the corpse.
No pity life.
This is the corpse. All the others are in the bush with injuries.
It's still a wonder how leaders and politicians feel saying the people they vowed to serve suffer. It seems like Africa needs to rethink the choice of their leaders if they have to beg for basic amenities like roads, water, shelter, and healthcare. The story of Ambazonia is similar and peculiar at the same time. We are talking about a country recolonized, marginalized, and denied of its own for over 61 years. Ambazonia activist and blogger Kemi Ashu, on one of her obvious Facebook posts over the weekend, brings on the table with emotions the question, in their country, a typical Ambazonian story. Gab Ellison has an observation. Let's hear him.
Ambazonia as a whole is known for her extreme riches and wealth in natural resources, agriculture, and this has made some to call her the breadbasket. But today we'll continue to analyze a mystery, how Indian County, the breadbasket, now begs for crumbs. In this delight, Kemi Ashu, one of Ambazonia's most feared activists and journalists, charms us with her words, full of emotions. I read, "History will remind us physically that Indian County was completely neglected by the genocidal regime of neighboring La Republique du Cameroon for 61 years, despite being the breadbasket that has given them all the wealth, including money they used to buy guns and shoot Ambazonians daily. After oil was discovered in this county, they hastily dissolved the federation and siphoned all the wealth through pipes to Douala and Yaoundé. In their hastiness and wickedness, they forgot to do anything for the community from which they were stealing natural resources. There are no roads, no hospitals, no amenities in India. The people who steal the resources use helicopters all the time, in and out, while admiring the dust from the sky. This is the same county that harbors palm oil, one of the largest palm oil processing plants in Ambazonia. The people have been treated with contempt, yet they wonder why the people would embrace Tenkobo and President Sako, whom they see as their knights in shining armor. Our First Lady, Mrs. Sako, is also from this county. All these colonial activities annoy the population. The colonial prime minister, a local chief himself, has never visited his county of origin. How pathetic. 10 Kobo must not fraternize with any diaspora warlord trying to get in touch and derail him. Let him remain focused and do what he does best. As for this Governor Okpala Bilai, he can hang in the sky. Nobody cares. One day be one day. Wow, what is there to say or add? Ambazonia has been robbed of her beauty and plenty, and there is an ongoing genocide, but the post-Rwandan genocide world is watching with closed lips and blind eyes. Gab Ellison reporting for Undaunted, ABC Amber News.
Truly, a watchman watches in vain if the good Lord doesn't intervene. The Holy Book says so. But truly speaking, the Ambazonian restoration forces are also watching and keeping the state safe, and they have promised to remain steadfast to ensuring that we are safe. This ill-fated day for the occupier colonial lane forces of La République de Cameroon was on Thursday, March 3, 2022, when the ARFS, aka Buffaloes of Yanga, under the able commander of General Grandpa, mounted an ambush, were laying them right inside Bali local government area, and after fierce combat shooting from the dreaded ARFS Buffalo, La République de Cameroon military motored car laid straight damage by the Buffalo's gunshot. Human and material damages on the side of the enemies, La République de Cameroon occupiers, are still being unearthed from the debris. General Grandpa remains steadfast and unchallengeable in Bali local government area. Ambazonia must be free. Because this is a special week for Ambazonia, the week when stakeholders of the liberation movement meet in Washington, D.C. to re-strategize and refocus. The question remains, what is ASSC2 to hope for? The organizing committee has laid out a complete program. Kindly permit me to read it out. For March 2022 Ambazonia Stakeholder Strategic Conference 2 in Washington, D.C., meeting schedule Thursday, March 10, 2022, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Amber time. It will be the opening ceremony by President Dr. Samuel Sako. Friday, March 11, 2022, 3 p.m. Amber time to 7 p.m. Amber time. It will be Restoration Council Committee by Dr. Winnie Lobati, Chair. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Amber time, short break. 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Amber time, Ambazonia Peace Plan, APP Committee, Dr. Ekbode, Chair. Saturday, March 12, 2022, 3 p.m. Amber time to 7 p.m. Amber time, Constitutional Draft Committee by Barrister Valentine Garner, Chair. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Amber time, Resolutions Committee by Mr. Steve Nebafu, Chairman. 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. Amber time, Fundraising and Closing. Ma Arin Ngwa and President Samuel Sako will coordinate that. Sunday, March 13, 2022, it will be departure. Remember, Ambazonia must be free. Attendance shall be both virtual and in person. See you there. And now to sport. There have been lots of exciting games this weekend, especially across the European top 4 leagues, with some interesting results recorded. Gab Ellison has more.
On latest sports highlights, German Bundesliga. Bayern Munich recorded a disappointing draw against Bayern Leverkusen that saw them drop 2 points in the title race. A goal for Niklas Süle at the 17th minute helped Bayern take the lead. The scores became level when Thomas Müller put the ball at the back of his own net. In another game played yesterday in the Bundesliga, Leipzig were held to a 1-1 draw by Freiburg in their quest for a Champions League spot. Freiburg on their part are having a great season and will be hoping to make a Champions League spot come the end of the season. Wolfsburg had a narrow 1-0 win over Union Berlin. Hertha Berlin lost at home to Frankfurt 4-1. At the bottom of the table, relegation-threatened Bochum took on another relegation-threatened side, Greuther Fürth. It was Bochum that recorded a 2-1 win. Stuttgart recorded a 3-2 victory against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Italian Serie A. Italian champions Inter Milan continues its quest to regain their crown on Friday with an emphatic 5-0 victory over relegation-threatened Sportiva. It was a 5-star performance from the Italian champions. Jose Mourinho and his Roma side emerged victorious in a mouth-watering game against Atalanta. They recorded a 1-0 victory at home, which was a vital win in their quest for a European position come the end of the season. Lazio proved their supremacy with a fine 3-0 win away from home against Cagliari. Udinese got a vital 2-1 win against Sampdoria. Genoa and Empoli separated on a 0-0 draw. Spanish La Liga. Sevilla's quest for a title challenge received a major blow as they were held to a 0-0 draw against relegation-threatened Alaves. Osasuna were 1-0 winners over Villarreal. Valencia recorded a brilliant 3-1 win over Granada. Catalan side Espanyol were at the top of their game as they defeated Getafe 2-0. At the Santiago Bernabeu, Real Madrid extended their lead on the La Liga table with an emphatic 4-1 win against top 4 chasers Real Sociedad. English Premiership League. New Leeds United manager Jesse Marsh took charge of his first Premier League game for the club as they were defeated by Leicester City 1-0. Aston Villa recorded an emphatic 4-0 victory against Southampton at Villa Park. Sol Niguez scored his first goal for Chelsea as they defeated Burnley 4-0. Newcastle United continued in their fine form with a 2-1 win against Brighton. It was a vital win in their quest to escape the drop zone. Brentford defeated Norwich City 3-1. It was a major blow to Norwich City's hopes of escaping the relegation zone. Crystal Palace defeated Wolves 2-0. At Anfield, there were banners flying around saying Cats' Lives Matter before the Liverpool vs West Ham game. The banner had to do with the incident of West Ham defender Kurt Zouma kicking a cat some weeks back, which was seen in a video. Liverpool went ahead to win the game 1-0 to help them close the gap to Manchester City, that is before the Manchester Derby takes place. Gab Ellison reporting on the sports coverage for Undaunted, ABC Amber News.
And with the sports report, we've come to the end of Undaunted. But before we go, here is a recap of the major stories. Ambazonia women is saying no to International Women's Day celebration in Ambazonia. Ukraine's president seeks the world's help and said it's not a movie, it's not mean, as people in the West turn him into a star. Volodymyr Zelensky is also using every chance he gets to remind the world his people are fighting for their lives. Russia and Ukraine conflict replaces COVID-19 on mainstream headlines. Indian County has been completely neglected by the genocidal regime of the neighboring La République de Cameroon. We also told you that ASSC2 is a few hours away. The answer remains there is enough to hope for. Agent 47 of the Expendables 100 debunks any ADF involvement in the Bakura bashing of La République de Cameroon. Unfortunately, General No Pity and his unity warriors have turned their guns against the restoration forces. Alright, this is just to officially announce to you that we are back with the news. Undaunted, bringing into the news Untold stories. I am Oni Okpala. Will leave you with ABC Amber TV images. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Okpala, for such an interesting news. Thank you, fellow Ambazonians, for tuning in once again. Good evening and welcome to this very special program. I am making it a culture for this special week to come very briefly and to maybe give to us some immediate announcements that the newsroom was unable to catch as they were producing the news. As you all heard from our anchor lady, this is a special week for Amazonia where stakeholders regrouping in Washington, D.C., and the president has indicated that he will receiving lots and lots of Amazonians from different parts of the world flying in. Those that are supposed to fly in into Washington are currently with the president of the Federal Republic of Amazonia as I speak to you, and he's giving to them a very warm reception. In the next 30 minutes, there's going to be a working session with the president and all committee heads. It will be virtual and on site as we speak. ABC Amber TV is not supposed to cover it, and we are trying to have a press conference. This press conference may be getting down to ground zero a little bit late because we do not know how long this test session with the president of the Federal Republic of Amazonia will take place. There is a press conference might take place at 6 p.m. time today. If we are not having that press conference, but TV will be streaming it live from Washington, D.C. We will definitely be having the vice president and some members of cabinet, the chief of staff, and heads of the various committees. And just to announce to you that the Secretary of State for Communications and IT, Dr. Martin Mungwa, will be coordinating. The press secretary from London, Lady Casey, is definitely expected to be a vital part of this press conference. Good things are happening. Lots of beautiful things are happening in Amazonia. Just to assure you, the president and his cabinet are focused in spite of dirty distractions. Do not be moved. Whatever you see, the last, I would say, last strokes of a dying horse. Frustrated people are choosing to, Dr. Tita rather call them disgruntled. I do not see why they should be disgruntled. They are not the ones in ground zero picking the bullets, and therefore they have no moral authority or reason to be disgruntled. They might be doing some stupid things. They have done stupid things previously, and you were agitating, but the president said, calm down. Gangsters in the ghetto thought that if they could hijack a WhatsApp group, they were going to go into the United States of America and hijack a treasury. And they have been proven, they have been disproved. We are not in Cameroon. We are not building a French Cameroonian kind of country. We are building a country that has laws and a country that will respect its own laws. And the government, your interim government, may be employing extreme measures to correct some of the stupidity that we're getting from far and near. Be rest assured, the president's silence, like our journalist and blogger highlighted on our page, should not be taken for granted. He's a man that wouldn't speak too much, but he has an understanding. When the issue of the treasury came up, a lot of people, government and beyond, and were worried. Were worried if things were safe, if rock stars, rebels, frauds, thieves, those who will steal your console, those who will dupe the ABC Amber TV board, they will dupe the board with reins for their television houses, will think that they will have an easy way through the treasury. Unfortunately for them, it's never, after this conference, it's not going to be business as usual. Like I said, so much and so much is happening. You've heard Uncle Lady Onye Okpala. She's making progress every day, adapting to the, I would say, challenging situation or environment that we find ourselves to produce the news. We are doing so virtually. We're going to have them. There's more than one thing that she'll be doing. She's going to participate in the live post and pre-speech analysis of the president on Thursday. The press conference tonight We hope we may have her, but if not, definitely you will have it with our news tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be having a series of interviews with unit heads, with those flying into Washington, and like I said, a couple of delegates from different parts of the United States, from Europe, are all in Washington. A few of them are already in Washington, and they are receiving and enjoying a very warm reception from the president. We've received some messages from stakeholders and from the chief of staff, which will be streamed in Ground Zero and even on ABC Amber TV platform. I've just received a message from a concerned Amazonian, and I would just want to read it and then say a few things, since I have just about 15, or would I say 25 minutes to be with you. And if you have concerns, please do not hesitate to send them via our WhatsApp number on Facebook. We will take into consideration. And this concerned Amazonian is saying, now Chris Anu and coup plotters have decided to be making further unfounded accusations against our president and feeding the masses on the ground. It's everyone's opportunity, especially the Amber TV, to and debunk this accusation. I like that statement. It is everyone's opportunity, especially everyone's opportunity. It is your opportunity, it is mine. Some of the information that we get to broadcast will depend solely on your ability. Yesterday, we received appreciation from some of our media activists who were excited that the newsroom took note of what they are doing, because you're writing beautiful articles, we will always make use of it. This platform is a platform that belongs to Amazonians. It is a very clear vision. The president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia believes that Ambazonia too deserves to have a platform that belongs to them, not businessmen. People who opportunists will now think that they're going to use the struggle to make for themselves a career that they failed all their youths they could not do. And at old age, they want to realize it's not desperate. Do not misunderstand me. I believe that no matter it is never too late. But how you come back is also vital. It should not be vicious. You should not take advantage of a platform that has been given to you by the peoples of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia to build something for yourself, which is not again wrong, but doing something that is dangerous for the people. The concern as to debunking, by now you should know that the aforementioned in this article, Chris Anu is a flop. As simple as this word may sound, that's a fact. A journalist that consistently gives to you inaccurate information, you should do yourself some good and avoid listening to such an individual. I like using this scripture all the time. The Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. Protect your heart. Select the information that comes to it, because out of it are the issues of life. Like I said yesterday, you wonder why you sleep in the night and demons feature. You cannot be dancing the melody of a witch doctor and then wonder why demons appear in your dream. You cannot be listening to a liar, a mistake all the time, and wonder why you're confused. And that's why the board members are making sure that in spite of the fight, this platform will stay alive. Nobody will come through it. Nobody will take it. They do not even have the intelligence of taking it. So fear not. That's why Ambazonians have grouped themselves, those who believe, hundreds of them, who believes in the vision of this man who believes that Ambazonia must have its own platform, and they're donating. I told you yesterday, they have graciously provided a better studio, better than what Anu hijacked. But if he assumes that he's going to keep the console, then he's surely crazy. It's just a matter of time. First things first. It's a matter of time. So fear not. I hope you watched the program we had with Pastor Commando, Chairman Theo, Mani Rasha, and Secretary Ambrose. Today, we're still going to have them, not on a talk show because there's a working session that they're all supposed to be a part of. It's going to be starting in the next 12 minutes. But you can watch the program. And if you want to watch our programs 24/7, I like to remind you that you do yourself some good. Visit our website, subscribe, abcambertv.com, www.abcambertv.com. Subscribe with a basic fee. It ranges from $10 to $1 million. You can just choose that, okay, I want to patronize ABC Amber TV for 10, 20 years. Do that. The board is excited with the news, and they have been able to get reporters from all over the world so that we can be on top of our game. You saw, I'm going to comment a little bit on the style that we have chosen for our news and why. Thus far, we can proudly tell you that only ABC Amber TV is streaming world news in this quality in the two Cameroons put together. Yes, we want to talk about the events from our perspective. Why? Somebody might start with Ambazonian news. Okay, yeah, we take that into consideration, but we're considering the market. The importance here is not the ego to have Ambazonian national news come first. The importance here is to get into the platform that has the market, get the audience, and so that they can listen to Ambazonian story. So what do you want? You want the story to be heard. You want our story to be implanted in the world. World news has a market globally. Ambazonians will have to figure out a way, and this is a strategy, so that we can penetrate international markets with our story. So we are very conscious about it, and we are excited that Ambazonians are also excited with the strategy. Lots of people have welcomed it. We have at least 99% support with the strategy. We're going to get better. If you notice, we don't bring in a lot of images like the sports news. We didn't have video images because of copyright. So we are working with Super Sports. When we have that collaboration, then we'll be using their images. It may not necessarily cost money. It's all about having fair negotiations. We want to also find a way to create partnership with Al Jazeera and some big media houses so that we can have their images. We do not want to be victims. Previously, the management of this TV, we've lost a lot of Facebook pages because of copyright. And that is something that previously was not taken seriously. But hence, we are taking into consideration because we know that the levels at which we're getting, copyright stakeholders may come after us. So we are vigilant and we make sure that we're producing our own content to a very great extent. We calling on every Ambazonian to be a part of this. You can be a part, you can be a part with your talent. Some of you, we have observed on Facebook, you do some good writings I've personally contacted like 5 of you. I want to use this opportunity to thank Kemi Ashu for enriching the newsroom. She is amazing. She is volunteering and making sure that we get into higher heights. Some other activists, I can proudly call you, this can get to help us. So having somebody that is volunteering to help our newsroom, Michel Biemtong, he's very willing to help our newsroom so that we can make some success. IG Watchman, a certain writer on Facebook, we have taken note of your writings. We have communicated with you. Thank you for the diligent writing. Rosalind, we are seeing all what you're doing and we're taking into consideration what you're doing. So I organize a time to have a meeting with you people on Facebook at whatever platform or whatever way you want us to have it. Let's strategize and be on top of our game. So far in Ambazonia, I would say the two Cameroons put together, nobody is doing what we're doing. We are the only responsibles. We are the only ones that are doing something that is right. And we are the ones that, we are the watchmen indeed. The international community, I watch you all that are working down, perhaps know your face like they're saying that you are the hero. You are the hero. You are making big things happen. As the international community sees that we are capable, is because you are doing a big work at the background. Thank you once more, stakeholders. Thank you, all donors and partners. Thank you. Do not worry, whatever you see, some people have contacted me. Coopers. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's an English word, but just use it to understand the description. Coopers can only lament. They cannot do anything. Yes, they can only lament. They're trying to do something. I just want to inform those who might be deceived that every property of the interim government is owned by Amazonia Foundation. I'm not going to speak further. By now, some of you should have known that a big mouth and a Facebook account does not make you intelligent. You should have known that talking with a following on social media does not make you have sense. So how do you know what you have to look? Consistency. Absence of consistency. Tomorrow must be more focused with SC. Now that's why the program I even announced to you yesterday, we consider that a distraction. A lot of Amazonians may want to. So I may have that program sometime next week. And the title of it is How Chris Arno Misled Coopers. Why he must be beaten. Chris Arno misled Coopers. Why he cannot escape a whip. It baffles me. I'll repeat this. It's shocking how educated men, now you want to quit education is all about, how reportedly educated, having some doctorate, some PhD, will believe that, and how do I call it, a journalist that has a lot of questions around his and integrity will make you to think that you can follow his dictates, achieve anything. I'm talking to people like Sango Luis Atongwe. Chris Ajwa. For EPA, anybody that is CPDM inclined is empty-headed. If you're not headed, you cannot be a member of the CPDM. You have to think. You cannot. And he has not really repented from the same. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like Aya Paul was a CPDM. He repented and took against his CPDM, and he was and any time you are delivered from the evil of CPDM, you be those from KMC saying that EPA and some of his friends came with Yaoundé. We have because there is no sense in their actions. They, I don't know how to describe Cometa with his defunct Restoration Council. Yesterday, desperation and frustration and full display. I can't read, I don't have time to read such documents. He sent out, I don't know what he's thinking in his mind, but he sent out something really foolish, I would say. Was that a communication? What is it? And I guess the and some are still the same. That by some means, whatever Restoration Council can dictate as to what is supposed to have the treasury. It is important for you to note 2021 Cometa did participate even for one draft. This was supposed to be the chair of the Restoration Council. He participated in every other fraudulent backdoor gathering, went to Cotonou and met with French Cameroon, held all sorts of gossip meetings, plotted against the president. We have intelligence, but could not participate for one of the just one. The question, your worries are as many as mine. Your questions are as many as mine. And the question I want us to ask is, who is he fighting for? It's important for us to ask these very necessary questions. Who is he fighting for? Or Ambazonian? You know the answer. The commando said yesterday, this is a man who has his own will. He despises the laws of the land, departs the Constitution, and wants to hit his will by every means. I tell you, there is evidence that Evis Cometa on this thing about the Constitution. So there are two things involved. Ignorance, arrogance. Like I said, one of these days, the government would employ extreme measures to very, very extreme measures to correct the stupidity. We are still investigating some things, community warriors. I have audios of individuals giving firm instruction. These are individuals, these are activists, you know, audios. Trust me, I will put it with their images on screen. Giving firm instructions Those who call themselves activists and they're fighting for Amazonia, giving instructions. We have it. Watch out for the show. The same show that is going to be titled How Chris Arnold Led Coopers into Error and Why He Must Be Whipped. That's the title. During that same program, we're going to play for you from activists or whatever you want to call them, from instructions, so that our restoration forces, loyal to the president, be killed. That is how evil Coopers can go. We have the audios, we have them. Our ears are everywhere. You're surprised? Some of them listening now are panting. Now, how is it possible that Tapa the King has the audios? Yes, we have the audios. Some of you plot, and it is my opinion that any government official indiscriminately fellowshipping with those plotting to kill will be kicked out from every portfolio or platform. Kicked out. I'm not going to call names. Soon as if it persists, through intelligence, we know everyone that is doing anything at the background. We have their name. Be rest assured that we are not ignorant of your double-sidedness and double-mindedness. Those who think that plot to kill, the law is coming after you one of these days. Watch. Amazonians, listen, we may just have to do this. The arrogance on beyond scale. Some of your activists, those with big mouths, might join behind the bars one of these days. And the only way not to continue will be if they have to just stop another Amazonians. I told you the other day I'm challenging. Yes, someone is asking me to check my connection. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm challenging all those who are disgruntled with what we're doing, who think that we might not be doing rightly. I'm challenging you to bring the Constitution and let's have a debate. I am unapologetically and proudly telling you that all along, Mr. Arno and his activists have been wrong. Not only did perhaps they did not understand when they were reading the Constitution, or they never even got a copy. Oh, yes. And if they had a copy and they have any justification, then they can come on the table. If they're not comfortable to come, invite me in your platform, whatever platform. I want to challenge you in your platform that you have been wrong. And I'll have the Constitution in my hands. Amazonians, forget about those who cannot read or who read and do not understand. And let's focus on ASSC2, Washington, D.C. Those around Maryland, you like the State for Communication and IT has it. You made some things and to receive those who are coming in. Yeah, that would be good. And some are already in Washington enjoying a good time with the president. And the feedback we're getting is that the president is very hospitable. Arrangements are ongoing and everything is working as planned. We are unstoppable. This is the winning team. We are making it big. If you have anything you like to volunteer in the newsroom here, a script or scripts, or you want to be a part of our reporters, do not hesitate to contact us and you'll be granted the platform. There is so much we're going to talk about. Come back with a press conference. I hope to be with Dr. Yaya, the press secretary from London. Is going to be late in the UK, but she will be there. I will be back with Mani and a whole lot of others. We will be having an interview with the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Dr. Winnie Lobati, Eporte, and Barrister Valentine Ghana, and a lot of others will be presenting to the public a ASSC 2, a pre-press briefing with the public. Late in Ambazonia, promised that there will be a rebroadcast, and for those who there'll be a rebroadcast on the channel, I'm not sure on Facebook, because we want to encourage you to be able to download our apps and websites. As soon as the app will be on, all club members will have it downloaded for free. So we want you to be a part of this production and a part of our vision. I have to get going now because the workshop must have started and I'm supposed to be a part of it. Send to us your feedback as to what you're seeing in the news. It is a work in progress, and we are hoping that before the month of March ends, it will be the best, and why not from Africa. So far, we are doing what none of the media houses in the two Cameroons put together are doing. And we're proud of that because it's 100% Amazonian from a platform like this that belongs to Amazonia and Amazonia. And there is no stakeholder or there is no shareholder. This is an Amazonian Broadcasting Corporation owned by the peoples of the Federal Republic of Amazonia. Until the press conference later tonight, it has been Tapa the King. Bye-bye and good night.
Fellow Ambazonians, this is your Vice President. When a handful of people embark on a journey to derail our revolution, while failing in their attempts to fuel the engine with the people's gas reserves, they start shouting and throwing tantrums at something as innocuous as the moon. They look up and see a man in that shiny gas bubble, holding a revolutionary axe as they struggle to push that almost hijacked revolutionary train without the ability to fuel and take it to another destination. They come to a rude awakening that the man with an axe in the moon is the one whose name has become the household name in this revolution, both to true revolutionaries and revolution busters. Indeed, one will never cease to be amazed by some people's capacity for hyperbole. We will surely stabilize our revolutionary train as we come together each time amidst distractions. Now, we will fuel our revolutionary train to enable it to navigate to its desired destination, because the last word belongs to the God that ordained our revolution. We call on all Ambazonians to join us next Thursday, March 10th to March 13th at the ASSC2 in Washington, so we can collectively grease our revolutionary engine, purge the destructive scum that almost pushed our train off the tracks, and to ensure it gets to its logical destination, which is the seat of our government, Boya. Those good people who got swept away by lies and unconstitutionality must always remember that falling prey to lies is a reversible human fallacy, and one must be bold to make redress, abandon those negative impostors that made one prey to a deceptive beast of destruction. Remember, taking control of one's dark thoughts is an honorable path to redemption. Come back home, my fellow Ambazonians. Let's join our president, Dr. Samuel Ikomesako, during the ASSC2 in Washington, D.C. to strengthen our revolutionary construct. My fellow Ambazonians, thank you, and God bless us all.